Today is a very exciting day because we have a metal raw container, so it's time to get some of this junk picked up. I'm thankful to have a company not too terribly far away that brings you a big container that I can put hopefully most, if not all of this in. You don't make a lot of money with the scrap metal. I don't know, maybe it's $100 a ton, and I have a few tons there, but they charge you $40 each way to bring the container. But the real benefit for me is that it just gets it out of my way and it gets recycled. So overall, net positive. A lot of this stuff is pretty big. There's going to be a lot of picking up by hand because there's a lot of smaller metal underneath. But I tell you that it's going to be quite a bit easier with the excavator compared to how we used to do it, which was entirely by hand or using the tractor bucket and trying to put it up over. The tractor barely puts the bucket up that high. And some things were so heavy it was hard to get in with our tractor and lift capacity. I think this is going to be significantly easier with the excavator. Yet another reason to justify its use. Now we did park the roll-off container just a little further than I meant to, but I'll pull it towards the roll-off and get back started here. Starting to work the first pile of concrete and blocks out of here from the foundation. I do not have a dump truck. Using that to pick it up and doing it by hand. We're taking it to the ravine. And here I thought I might sell the backhoe, but it's useful. There's a whole group on Facebook called the Case Backhoe group, and they describe it as the Swiss Army knife, and I have to say I agree with that. It's already making a pile on the edge of this ravine. I can't believe all that stuff's hanging over the ravine like it is, but this is the underrail frame of the modular part of the house. So I cannot believe it's pulling this out, but it is. And I'm even holding it way up in the air. Super windy day out, but we're really getting started on this project. I've got rid of the wall, retaining wall slash, I myself a ramp if I can get down in there. Got to get that big metal frame out and then just start working the blocks out for this whole area. This is the old modular home area. So this one will be considerably easier, just time consuming to get these blocks out. Give you a little perspective here. My ramp is pretty all right. It's not real scary. But this is only, I don't know, a 4-foot deep foundation on the sides. So really not bad, but this is quite the mess. There's quite a bit of junk in here. This is the area where the little red barn was in the first video, where we burnt down the house. And that foundation I already dug out. But the hard part of this foundation truly is going to be this area here. So number one, it's quite a bit deeper. And I think the fire certainly weakened the grout, so it'll come down, but I'm more worried about the rocks that are cemented together and grouted together. And this just whole area is very thick, and there's a lot of material here to dig out, not to mention all the junk. I would be lying if I said I wasn't super excited to push that over and that over. This is the area where like the other garage was that burned down when the house burned down. You can check that video out for kind of understanding what was going on here, but it's just insane how much stuff was in that, not to mention all the trash. So not only was the guy that owned this before a meth head, but he was also a klepto. I can't find it right now, but somewhere under one of these messes was a box of like 50 hitch balls, and I'm pretty sure he was probably stealing them off of other people's trucks. He's along the drive, and he was gonna mow kind of up against my little log pile here, and something is really lucky, and that something is a little tiny fawn. He was remaining very still, so I should probably leave it alone, but very cute. Glad it did not get bush hogged. It was pretty ugly and rainy yesterday, so we actually were bored enough to sweep out the barn and the floor, which had about an inch of dirt all over the place. Today, I'm gonna try to cut up some of this metal. I can't say I'm particularly excited about it, but I do have a tool that my dad's coworker let us borrow, which is pretty nice. This, I guess it's as good as a cutting torch. I don't know how the best way to cut metal beams up, but it's pretty terrifying. And here in a little bit, I'll show you that Dad actually caught himself on fire a little bit. So yeah, kind of interesting, but let's see how this goes. And after that little experience, I don't think Dad wanted to use this saw anymore. So off to the left, I have the excavator bucket propping this beam up. The purpose of that is to change the downward pressure so there is no pinching. This is sort of the same concept of using a chainsaw, and I would rather the circular blade not blow up in my face. And here, instead of, again, cutting all the way through, I'm just going to pick it up and break it apart. Start moving more beam over to where I can get to it better and start the process over again.
That moving cloud in the background is gnats, and they are absolutely terrible in our part of Indiana right now.
Pick it up and kind of snap it, almost bend it apart. Kind of like that. So I'm sitting here waiting for my first regen where I can't use the excavator. Apparently that's a thing. Some of them you can work through, and apparently this one you have to just let it be. So I'm sitting here watching it with a fire extinguisher on it. If you look up the YouTuber Andrew Carminata, guy out of, I think, New York. He's got a big channel, a lot of people follow him. His excavator caught on fire, and it's insured, but I sure do not want it to catch on fire. These DPF regens warm the machine up really hot. Tells you to park it on grass or not on grass, so you don't catch it on fire, but we're just gonna keep an eye on it. The belt squeaks so bad. I don't love that, but it's parked in the shade.